Call the meeting to order. Roger, get or Brad, roll please.
Opperling.
Here.
Morton.
Here.
Butterfield.
Here.
Handback. Jones.
Here.
Spar.
Here.
Warren.
Here. He's here. Here. Everybody's had a chance to look at March 27th minutes. If there's no amendments, I hear a motion for approval.
I so move. Second.
Voice roll. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, before we start, council's going to read just a short statement about what the zoning board's about and how we do it.
Thank you. Public hearing is being held tonight pursuant to published notice. Any person wishing to address the zoning board will be sworn in by our court reporter and will give testimony under oath or affirmation. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the zoning board of appeals will make its determination. 4 yes votes are required to obtain the approval of the ZBA. For variation, the zoning board's task is to determine whether an applicant meets certain legal requirements. Variation procedure is not intended to evaluate whether a proposed variance is or is not a good idea. The zoning board cannot grant a variance unless it finds that the evidence before it proves all the criteria set forth by state law and by the village code, including a finding that because of particular physical surrounding, shape, or topographical conditions of the specific property involved, a particular hardship to the owner would result if the strict letter of the zoning regulations were to be carried out, and further that the conditions upon which variance is based are unique to the property for which variance is sought and not generally applicable to other property in the same zoning classification. Unless the zoning board finds that all of the criteria, including both what I summarized and those points that I didn't, are met, the zoning board cannot by law grant the applicant a variance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our first case tonight is number 17-08. Wesley Sutter is requesting a variance for a property located at 617 East Adams Street. The petitioner seeks a variance from ordinance 7831 relative to lot size limitations. Wes, you want to just step up in front of Arlene and she'll swear you in, then you can step up the podium.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
Wes, if you would, just state your name and address.
My name is Wesley Suter. My address is 617 East Adams Street, Morton, Illinois.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
So, I appreciate you meeting and considering this. My name is Wes Suter, and I am requesting a size limitation variance for my property at 617 East Adams Street. The requirements that I'm wishing are the R1 lots require a 56.25 feet of frontage. This lot has 50 feet of frontage, resulting in a 6.25 foot variance on the width. My desire is to build a size appropriate house on this open grassy lot where there was a house once before years ago. And if you do remember last year about this time, I requested the same variance due to the garage situation. I tweaked my design to accommodate a garage within the setback lines. So now I'm requesting again the variance for the frontage.
I like the new design. I'm gonna start with the audience here quick. Who wants to speak to this case tonight? Is anybody in the audience? Or
How close is that to the house on 6?
if you want to, you're gonna have to just stand up and Arlene will swear you in. You can step up to the podium.
raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You want to just step up to the podium and just state your name and address and relative what this.
I'm Mark Bicker. I live at 621, the house that's right next door. My question is, how close is that house within the fire code of my house? Because by that design, it looks like it's right on top of my driveway. That's my main, from looking at what it is. I figured a house could be built where it could fall on the other property next to it without causing damage.
He's 5'3". He'll be 5'3",
From
which
my-
is I live on Jefferson, but all our subdivision of that is 5'3" is the narrow side.
From the garage or the actual side of the house?
That'll be from
From the house.
the house.
Yeah.
The house, the lot line.
If you would go to the site plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the site plan.
Oh, site plan?
Site plan.
You have that on there?
Yep.
Yeah. We can show you.
Number 3 here. Right there it is.
So it's 5 feet from actually my door of my house to there, from the side door?
No, it's the drive. 5'3" from the edge of that house to that property line, yeah.
So from your driveway, it'll be 5'3" from, I don't know where your driveway is, if it's on this lot line?
It's on there. It's actually to
Okay.
that property line.
Okay.
Yeah, it says where you park a car on my drive now, I can barely open a car door, so, with the drive, so it's gonna be awfully close to the house. Just wanna know, make sure it's not that close where it cause a fire hazard or,
Yeah, no, I think he'll be, I mean,
You'll be able to open your door.
Yeah.
From that property, which is fine.
5 feet.
yeah, because it's unfortunate because your driveway actually is a non-conforming,
Right.
yeah, I
Drive.
can vote it.
but I mean, it's there, I mean, that's no big deal.
All right,
So,
well, they're following code.
is that,
That's all I basically want to know is the code was being followed on it.
yeah, that's it, that's what everybody has to be
All
through
right.
there.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Does anybody else wish to comment? No? And my lot on, where I live on Jefferson Street is 50 foot wide. I don't know what we came up with. Must have been the bigger lots. Roger, is that why they changed it to 60, 56 feet?
It was in the 70s, I think, when they rewrote that zoning code that they came up with that 75-foot minimum for interior lots. And it's been that since.
Does any board have any question? I hear a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant case number 17-08 as stated in our 1010-2C.
Second.
Butterfield. Yes. Jones.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Opperly.
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Thank you. See Roger for some permits and you get started.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, that's our only case tonight. Roger, you want to go over the new
Sure.
revised?
Okay, with the help of Pat, we've come up with a couple additional pages that when the applicant comes in to apply for a variance, they'll get pages 1 and 2 like you're accustomed to seeing. They're not going to get the next 2 pages, which we've given you. It kind of gives basically what reads from our ordinance. And then the last page is going to be a question answer thing, which hopefully will bring out maybe if there are shortcomings, or it's going to, I think it'll help you in the variance process. It won't put all the burden on you because right here is where they're going to have to explain how they qualify or don't qualify. And Pat can probably say this better than me in legal terms, but for that variance. So hopefully it'll take a little bit of the burden off of each one of you going forward. So now tonight's case, for example, was, the lot's there and it's been a lot for, I'm not sure when that subdivision was platted, but it's right that he should be able to build there. He meets all the setbacks, and he would have qualified, even going through the new process, he would have qualified. So,
And we're not changing the standards that people have to meet, but rather we're trying to bring that standard forward as apparently as possible to individuals when they're applying. One of the things is your petitioner bears the burden of proof to prove to you how they meet the requirements under our code. And by getting more information from them at the outset regarding how they believe they meet your burden of proof, I think will help create a better record for us as well.
I think it'll be, work out well.
Yeah, I think it'll help the petitioner.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'll be a good thing overall.
Roger, you have anything else?
And then the other item is the rules and procedures. If you might want to just,
Yeah,
you
I'll
just want to review those, Pat?
Yeah, in my advice to you guys, it's advisable to have written rules of procedure. We've kind of had standing practices, but not anything to the point where you have a written document that either an applicant or a member of the public could review in anticipation of coming to a hearing. The idea of the rules of procedure is to cover how we're going to handle our hearings, to cover how we're going to receive evidence, to cover who has right to cross-examine a testifying witness. So to kind of review the high points for you, Section 5 really gets into how we're going to handle the hearings. Chair calls it to order. The petitioner presents their case. They can present exhibits or documentary evidence, and they offer those as a part of their presentation. The chair makes a decision on whether to admit those. After they're done, any person who wants to testify would have the opportunity to do so. And all that testimony is under oath or affirmation. We don't accept into evidence written statements signed by an individual unless they're physically present, which has been our historical practice, but never committed a written policy. Cross-examination be limited to individuals within 250 feet of the property at issue. That limits is, cross-examination can be cumbersome. You have two people we need to record. We don't have the best arrangement for it. Legal precedent allows us to limit that to a defined area, and by doing 250 feet, that's the notice window that Roger keeps a list of when he sends out notice to adjoining landowners. So somebody'd have to have Mike's recognition, or the chair's recognition, excuse me, before they'd have the opportunity to speak, and they'd have to be within that 250-foot buffer in order to cross-examine. That doesn't mean testify, that's cross-examine only. We'll make ruling on admission of exhibits before we close if any's offered. We'll keep exhibits offered. Tells people if they want you guys to review something, they should bring 7 copies. Says the board can ask witnesses questions as you desire. 4 yes votes are required. After the hearing's concluded, we'll take action. And then it covers what if somebody's absent and their vote's needed. It gives our policy that's consistent with what we did the last time this came up, where we're going to have a transcript, they'll review it, they'll vote at the next meeting. Covers continuances at the discretion of ZBA, you could continue a case and we don't have to republish. Nobody can speak unless recognized by the chair. And then it says if there's a group and everybody in a group wants to say the same thing, instead of hearing the same comment 20 times, they're to pick a representative to indicate they're speaking on behalf of the group, like we, the 20 neighbors, have this concern. So it's not inconsistent with how, if you've ever had to take a case before Tazewell County, how they handle, for the most part, their proceedings and how a lot of other government bodies proceed. Probably not a big substantive change for you guys other than getting it documented in writing. So that would be something beyond just informational that I would suggest be appropriate for you to approve as your rules of procedure. So with a motion to approve or adopt the proposed rules of procedure.
There, motion.
I move that we adopt the rules and procedures as stated.
Second.
Jones,
Yes.
Spar,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Opperly,
Yes.
Barton,
Yes.
Butterfield.
Yes.
Approved.
All right, thanks.
Mike, just for, as a refresher for you, each one of you, when an applicant comes in, we do send a letter to everybody within 250 feet. So and that list is always in your
Right.
packet. They have everybody on that list has gotten a notice. It's somewhat generic. It doesn't go into a lot of detail, but we do
That's the
send
one
that.
thing I have. Is there any way we could go into a little more detail about what, because I know there's a lot of neighbors sometimes that don't, it's not a big deal, but they don't know. They just get this letter and is there any way we could put something in there about what the petitioner's asking for? Or?
Do those notices were gone after they've submitted their the application?
Right.
I suppose we could, I don't think there'd be anything that would offend the applicant if we provided, I mean, even if you just provide them page 1 of the
Yeah.
application.
Just to
Okay.
let them know kind of what's,
Well, we can do that going forward.
let's do that if we
Yeah.
could.
Brad can do that going forward.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.
Yeah, we want to make it easy for you.
Yeah, no, I do think that'll help a lot of people when they get there, notice. Anybody else have any? Okay, with that, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Voice roll, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.
Thank you.